What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it. All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Guzman's Gridiron, presented by the Red and Gray Gridiron Group and Underground Sports Philadelphia, live from Coach Guzman's office.
Different.
Another week in the books, Coach, and we're on a 4-game win streak, and as they say in the business, who doesn't love going streaking?
I'll tell you what, I can't say enough about our kids, our coaching staff, the community. They're supporting our kids, you know. Like I said, we're in a really, really nice situation, and you know, we just want to keep the train on the tracks and keep it rolling, man. The kids have shown us that, you know, they're not satisfied with just, you know, a win. They want to get, you know, multiple wins in succession. So, and they're proving they can.
Mm-hmm.
They're proving they can, Kyle. So again, kudos to our kids, kudos to the coaching staff, the community coming out and really, you know, being behind and backing our kids. So thank you, guys. Thank you for doing that, because our kids are just, they're feeding off of that energy, which is beautiful.
Especially, you know, the switch up in schedule. It's been Thursday night football, which
Yes.
has been a lot of fun. And to just see the turnouts we've had, you know, for that Eastern game for Atlantic City this past week has been so much fun. I think Thursday Night Lights
Absolutely.
has been a wild success with just the turnout, the band coming out, cheerleaders, and just the performance on the field, back-to-back blackout games as well, which has been really cool. We'll start with Eastern because we didn't have an episode because
Right.
we had our all-conference team voting,
Yes.
which we'll also
Yes.
get into as well. But to just quickly recap that game against Eastern, eerily similar in score,
Yes.
very similar in result, though. A big 21-19 win against Eastern,
Weird,
which
huh?
is just very strange.
It's very weird. 2019, the year before, 21-19.
It's called progress. We got 1% better.
Shoot. And you know what? For a minute there, we were thinking we're running away with this now. That's a good ball club.
Mm-hmm.
Eastern's a good ball club. You know, good coach and Lionel there, and you know, he has them kids ready to play. So kudos to him and his coaching staff as well.
To just see the resilience, too, to go up as much as it was 21-6 at one point, and then to see the defense, you know, they gave up a score but didn't break.
No.
I thought that was super impressive, you know, in a playoff environment at the time, and, you know, just trying to secure that home field advantage as well, and to come out on top against a team that there's history there, obviously, from last season, and to just continue to build upon that. I thought the defense really was impressive in that game throughout most of it, and then the offense did their job. They put points on the board,
Absolutely.
came away with successful drives, fluid ball movement whenever they were on the field. I thought it was an overall great game, start to finish, in all three phases.
Yeah, the kids, again, you know, they've been studying it up. They've been practicing at a high level. You know, they know what's at stake as far as it's not about, and I always say this, it's not about the record. All right, you know, you could be, you know, a 6 and whatever team and then come into somebody's house and that doesn't have that good of a record, but you wind up losing. So it's not always about the record. It's about what has your team actually learned throughout the season and put together to finish the season. You know what I mean? And I think our kids have, you know, we started out slow. We did. We knew we were better than what we were showing people. But once the train on the track started rolling, I mean, it's been a real good showing by our kids. So again, man, I can't be you know, pleased enough to say that, you know, our kids are here and they're gonna keep playing and achieving at a high level.
And I think, you know, this goes for both the Eastern game, for Atlantic City, which we'll touch on, and then even Pensacola and EHT, to just see how comfortable I think everyone has gotten with Tyrell at quarterback. I feel like that has been one of the missing pieces early in the season, where there was, you know, a bit of change at the quarterback position.
Right.
You go from Gavin to Jacob, and then Jacob gets injured. you throw Tyrell in the mix, and let's see what you can do as one of our best athletes on the team. And I think he's really come into his own, and I think the team has kind of just really rallied around him. I saw Patrick Gilbert, when all the all-conference announcements were getting made, he said Tyrell at quarterback was the piece that put it all together.
Right.
And I think there's no better way to sum up this stretch that you guys have been on than Tyrell just continuing to get more and more comfortable at quarterback. And I even I quote tweeted his announcement of being named to all conference. It's very rare at the high school level I make a comparison to a pro player because you don't know what the expectation is.
Right.
But the way that Tank carries himself and the way he performs on the field, the way he is in the huddle, it's so eerily similar to the way Jalen Hurts carries the Eagles huddle, the way that Jalen Hurts plays the quarterback position.
Right.
I see a lot of Jalen Hurts in Tank, and that's really cool to see at this stage of Tank's evidently young career.
Right.
You don't know if he'll play quarterback at the next level or not, but
Right.
to see just the composure factor is so impressive for his age.
Tyrell Powell is a kid, again, that'll, this is the type of kid you want to bring home. Again, I always say him, Tyreem, Pop, all these guys, man. Noah, I can go on and on. These are kids that you want to just bring home. They exude, respect. They exude that quiet confidence, if you will. And this guy's he's playing off the charts football right now. Whether it's his legs he's utilizing, whether it's his arm he's utilizing. I mean, he's a player. I've said it from the beginning. It was just a matter of time. And if we backtrack a little bit to the beginning of the season with this young man, I respect my kids. I love my kids. And I'll give you a little inside information. I had asked Tank to be the guy, to be the quarterback of the team. Beginning, okay? This man looked at me. He said, "Coach, I want to be a wide receiver." That's all I need to hear. You're a senior. You've earned everything to this day. You want to be a wide receiver? That's what you're going to be. I owe you that, so that you're comfortable in whatever position that you are allotted and you pick. You want to be the wide receiver for this team? You have that opportunity. And so we had to go ahead and we gave Gavin a go. Great arm, just a great football player. And there comes, Jacob. Like I said, he was right nipping at his heels. He comes in, gives us some good play there, and we kind of moved Gavin into tight end spot. And then, once the ship kind of was, it was kind of going, it was just kind of going in the water a little bit. It was taking on water, and here comes, Tyrell, and I go to him again. Hey, Tyrell, we're in a situation. Do you mind, picking up maybe where we left off with you, And he was like, "Coach, I'll do whatever I got to do for the team." And I said, "I appreciate that." And look now, you know what I mean? He's just a great kid, great athlete, and again, I always say a better person than a football player.
And I mean, no better evidence of showing off his arm than this game against Atlantic City, where towards the end of the first half, Rich and I are in the booth. Tank throws that ball up, and we're like, okay, and then puts it pinpoint to where only Agent 7, Xavion Diaz, could come up with that ball.
Yes.
And the way Xavion was able to turn on an instant like the way he did, going up and then turning as quickly as he did, and just boom, here's wide open space, a 67-yard touchdown. That's one of the best throws I've seen from a Vineland High School quarterback in a long time.
So to give you some clarity on that story, I'm on the headsets, and Coach Mike Wimbish and Coach Dwayne Hendricks, they're on there, and it's like, Coach, what are you trying to do? You're trying to, run, pass. I go, listen, all gas, no brakes. Let's go. High probability pass play to the outsides. That's all I'm asking. So you go in your bag of tricks. Any pass play that you're attacking the outsides and deep, I'm fine with. And there goes Coach Hendricks. Dials it up, calls it into Mike. Mike calls it into Terrell, and the rest is history, man. I mean, it was a gutsy call. It was a gutsy call, but you know what? I'd rather put pressure on them than us go in there 1 point ahead, and we're kind of feeling good. Football's football, and as you can see, they scored right away, right? So, I mean, it took that effort, and it took that initiative to say, you know what, we're not going with the status quo of, all right, we're happy with 1 point lead. No. Bombs away, let's roll. And we'll live with that as long as we follow what we've set forth throughout the whole week. So we did, and we threw the dice. We threw the dice, Colin. It paid off.
And you've said that since the start of this winning streak, when everything was, coming into fruition with potential playoffs and everything,
right.
And teams coming into Vineland, and you said, we're not going to play scared.
No.
We're going to, put our chips in the middle of the table. We're going to do things that early in the season we wouldn't have done. We're going to try it now because we've afforded ourselves that opportunity.
Right.
And that's what that entire Atlantic City game was. That's what most of the Eastern game was. Yep. And to just see the way that all three phases have been clicking has been unbelievable. The confidence that all three units, both offense, defense, and special teams, have been playing with as units, not just individual players, has been super impressive.
Each unit and their respective coaches are, playing and coaching at an unbelievable tier, man. Again, I can't, be, proud enough of my kids, my staff. We're putting in the work. We're putting in the work throughout the week, and it shows come game day. There's no one that can say, oh, well, they were kind of No. This isn't your conventional typical, okay, this team's just going to go ahead and kneel it before the half. No. Let's roll, and let's keep it rolling. Let's keep throwing the dice, because at the end of the day, you're only as good as your last play. You're only as good as your last play. So I'll sleep on that play. If they want to go ahead and, if they're going to say, oh, well, that play was I'll sleep on that play, because that was a great throw and a great catch by that number 7, nicknamed Agent
7.
Agent 7. There you go. See that? Agent 7 now. It's not what you think, all right? It's Agent 7.
You want to talk about somebody who is known for catching those deep passes, too, and being a deep threat. He's done this his entire varsity career.
Yeah,
this is nothing new for Xavier to go up and pinpoint the ball like that. And I think it catches teams off guard. He's not your typical 6'4" wide receiver. Traditionally, that's a slot receiver with his size and his speed. That's what you'd want in the slot.
Right.
But he uses his strength and his mental awareness beyond what any defensive back is even prepared for, and can go up, pinpoint a ball on the outside, and take your best corner one-on-one.
All day.
And you feel comfortable doing that 10 times out of 10.
Absolutely. Kyle, let me tell you something. Xavier Diaz is a straight baller, period. When he gets the ball in his hands, you see it's action time. Put the reel on him, because he's going to make something happen. The kid is he's dynamic in what he does. As you mentioned, he's not your typical number 1 receiver. He's not. He's 5'9.5", maybe squeezing 5'10" in there. He's about $150, $155. But he makes up for all that size in the way he plays the game.
He plays like he's 6'5".
Yes. He goes for that ball. He's got leaping ability. He's got a beautiful vert. And his 0 to 60 is great.
And his hands have improved
absolutely
year upon year since he's gotten that call up to varsity when he was a freshman. And to just see the way that he's improved at the wide receiver position, you see what he's taken from when he was a punt returner and using it as a receiver with his hands, and that's been super fun to watch too. Is just his development of just utilizing his hands to his ability, as one of his greatest strengths that he has, and just going up and getting the ball and not letting anybody else be where the ball is other than him.
And being so that, again, you alluded to the fact that his kickoff returns, punt returns back when he was younger. He loves playing in tight spaces. So when you think you have him, you better guess again. He'll make a move, and the slightest move gets you off of your tackling angle. He's gone. He is gone. Because that kid looked like he could just right?
We
From
didn't
Atlantic
know
City.
who caught it at that moment, where it was on the field because it was
Yeah.
far side,
Yes.
and it's up in the air one-on-one. You don't know who's coming down,
Down
with
with it.
that, and you don't know if it got broken up, if it falls out going to the ground, and then you just see Xavier turn on the burners, and it's like, oh,
He got
okay.
it. It was him. It was him. Yeah, he makes people miss in tight spaces, and that's why, again, we have zero problems. He's one-on-one. Let's see where it's a 50-50 ball.
Mm-hmm.
Is your number one D-back going to get it, or is our number one receiver? And I'll put the chips on Xavier all day.
Let's also talk about how this Atlantic City matchup wasn't the supposed playoff matchup either. Both teams from the other side of the bracket withdrew from the consolation tournament. Yes. Atlantic City was eliminated from the state playoff by Washington Township week prior when we played Eastern. They had an open spot. We had an open spot. Why not play a team that was in the state playoff and kind of match up where you are against an old Cape Atlantic League rival as well, a team that 2 years ago we went there, the second round of the playoffs, when both teams were knocked out, and I think a lot of people underestimated what Vineland was going to be capable of doing against Atlantic City simply because it was a team who was in the consolation bracket, team who made the state bracket. The proof was in the pudding. The state bracket team is going to obviously go in and win.
Right.
I think that also was evident in terms of fueling you guys throughout that entire game, where a lot of people were doubting the fact that you could have a state playoff team come into your house and you couldn't win. I think that resonated with everybody on the field, resonated with your staff.
Absolutely.
And it was evident by how you guys played that game.
Listen, again, I give credit and kudos to Atlantic City and their coaching staff. Coach Keenan's doing an excellent job with them kids. So keep it up, Coach. But yeah, a lot of people doubted us. And what's really sad is a lot of people within the violent community, of course, doubting us, and that's fine. Doubt us all you want. It's not a problem. We'll just keep doing what we do. But it's just funny that our kids, our staff, we ate off of that plate, and all week we kept on putting in their head, yeah, this is what the thought is. This is what the thought. Even out there, and even the kids, they were coming to us telling us. Our own kids are coming back to us telling us that the certain people in the community are, oh yeah, you guys will get ran on. Don't worry about it. It happens. I don't know why they scheduled that game. Coaches should know better. Of course, because these are Sunday quarterbacks over there. Just But anyway, like I told the kids, I said, don't worry about the outside noise. Worry about what's in here. What's in this locker room is your family outside of your real family. That's it. That's the bottom line. So if your kids are believing in yourselves, because we believe in every single one of you, let the chips fall where they may come game day. But I don't know. I think that, like I said, I'll take our kids over whatever team any day of the week, and we don't duck anybody. We will play whoever. It doesn't matter on the schedule. But it was nice for them to get that win off of a playoff team that is legit. They have legitimate speed.
At one point, we're beating Washington Township
in
their playoff game.
Yes. So legitimate team. So again, we don't pay much attention to the naysayers out there that are there, and they're still squawking and things of that nature. But the kids just keep on winding it up, man. They keep on winding it up, and they know what the picture is longevity-wise coming into Thanksgiving's game. So they know what's at stake, and we'll be ready. Even before that, we should have a game before that. So, before the Turkey Day game, we're going to go ahead, get zoned in before that week so that way we're ready to play whatever the contender is before Millville.
And, I mean, you look at the Atlantic City game, too, outside of, quote-unquote garbage time touchdown that they scored at the end that ultimately didn't matter in terms of the game because you guys ended up winning. But you're up by 2 scores for majority of the fourth quarter. So, I mean, like, that in and of itself is impressive against a now former playoff team because they were eliminated, obviously. But to go in and have a 2-score lead late in the game just shows you, like, how competitive you guys can be when you're thrown toe-to-toe against some of these playoff teams. And, I mean, Rich and I talk about this all the time, pregame and during like our our intro to the broadcast, you look at some of the surrounding schools that you beat Eastern, say some of those teams withdraw. Some other schools would be like, all right, season's over.
Yeah.
We're done. We'll pack it in, get ready for your winter sports, get ready for whatever you need to do.
Right.
I think the fact that the precedent was set with Coach Russo years ago with the playoffs and, scheduling these extra games going into Thanksgiving, knowing that Millville is in the state playoff. They're a talented team. They're going to go deep in their state playoff run. They're going to keep playing. Why shouldn't we keep playing? I think the fact that you guys continue to schedule games in these weeks leading after the final regular season game, whether it's qualifying for the state playoff or going into that consolation tournament and then scheduling games after that, I think that just shows the culture of what Vineland High School football has become, because these kids want to keep playing.
Yes.
They know the importance of that Millville game at the end of the year, whether it's home or away, and to just stay sharp. Why would you want to just, have intra-squad practice matchups where you're not trying to hurt anybody, you're not trying to go out full force in practice against your own team with the risk of injury or, just the risk of anything happening in practice? I think playing actual games has helped this team get better year over year, and it's evident by what's happened this year in a 4-game win streak.
Absolutely is. It's all part of the maturation process for these kids, Kyle, and it's all part of, as you put very well a little while ago, about the culture. We made it a staple in our having of this program, and that now I'm talking when I was back with Danny, to have that type of culture where it's a football culture. We're not ducking anybody. We're playing the best. We want to play the best. You do not want to play down levels. You want to play up. So we schedule whoever's available. Oh, you're a playoff team. Fine, let's go. Because even if we were to lose that game, we're gaining invaluable experience on that field. We're understanding what it is within the levels of play, right? There's some teams that have unbelievable wide receivers, hence Atlantic City. All 4 of their wide receivers legitimate. All 4.
For everybody at home, they have arguably the number 1 wide receiver in the state.
In the state. Number 2 is a problem for anybody, okay? You're looking at a kid who's 6'3", 6'4",
getting recruited by every SEC school known to man.
Okay. And I know there's another wide receiver out there from the neighboring town, Mr. Brooks, unbelievable as well.
Talented as well.
Unbelievable as well. So kudos to the South Jersey kids, period. But again, not to digress from Atlantic City, they had legitimate receivers, man. And our kids did an excellent job, in my opinion, all day long against all 4 of them. And we made sure we told them during the week that number 2 is a problem. He really is for any defense.
So fast.
And runs routes crisp, beautiful hands, great athlete. But if we play our style of ball and we do all the little intangibles, we'll be fine. We will be more than fine. And if you notice, we didn't just have Saquon on him. We had Terrell cover him. We had Mason cover him. We didn't want no one to get scared away by his speed. No. Let's all work together to go ahead and nullify anything major that he can do and make everything run through him. If they're going to win, they're going to win with that number 2. And we made sure that we put it into that. So, again, our D-backs and our linebackers were playing phenomenal. Not to mention up front, we were getting beautiful pressure on that quarterback. Because I'll tell you what, that's one of the best quarterbacks. Quietly, and a lot of people don't know it or don't understand it, but I'll tell you right now, that number 12 for Atlantic City is the real deal.
Very talented.
Very talented kid. You let him sit back there and just do-si-do back there, he's going to pick any team apart. I don't care what you are.
Like, he's probably, for everybody at home who may have, I'd say he's probably in the top 3 quarterbacks you guys have played this year, and he's probably not number 3.
No. He is that good. He is that talented. He has that strong of an arm. The kid was solid. It's just that we got early pressure on him. He didn't, he was getting the happy feet. And that was one of the main cogs that we were trying to let the kids know. If we can get him having happy feet, he's not going to get comfortable. And that means number 2 will not be comfortable. Because if he can't get the ball out there, That's
Not much he
showtime
can
for
do.
us. There's nothing that number 2 can really do for to us. Or number 1. He was another one. But the kids played within themselves, and they rallied at that nice crescendo of a win for us. So
And I think for a majority of the game, correct me if I'm wrong, I think Saquon was on number 2 most
yes,
of the game.
most of the game, yes.
What Saquon should put that entire game on his huddle package
I think he
because
already did.
that was his best game of the season.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
I saw him before the game. He still owes me one. I told him to get me an interception.
I got you.
He still owes me one. He almost had 2.
He did. He did.
But what a performance. Like, to see his development, we talked about it on the broadcast too, like, to see his development from week 0 to where he is now, putting him on an island against the best receiver in New Jersey right now, arguably, that just shows, like, his development, his growth, and just, like, his confidence in himself to be like, yeah, put me on an island. I'll take him one-on-one.
I'll take him one-on-one. Yeah, and that's Saquon. He only wants to go up against, not only, but he loves the challenge of going up against their number 1.
And you need that as a DB. Like, the unbelievable and unfathomable confidence you need as a defensive back in order to be successful, I think is more than any position in football.
Yeah.
Like, even more so than quarterback, because you can get a play back if you're a quarterback in the blink of an eye. If you're a corner and you give up a big play, you have to be able to reset so quickly.
Yeah.
It's unreal. So to have that confidence that he has is super impressive.
That young man has been, again, I've been on him since even before we even touched the field that first episode. He is electric. He is a discipline beyond his years. Student of the game, constantly watching film, and really studies film. Like, he'll break things down, like just like all the coaches tell him. You have to break everything down into, even up to the mannerisms of that wide receiver coming up to the line of scrimmage.
Mm-hmm.
That can be a telltale sign of, every time he runs an in route, this is how he comes to the line of scrimmage. Every time he runs a fade, his hand there's certain mannerisms your body just can't let go of. His hand falls by the wayside and then he comes up. That's when I know he's going to run a fade. And he has it down to where any little mannerism that a guy does, he just knows by watching so much film. So Saquon is going to be something to talk about, but even more so come his senior year next year.
Yeah, I mean, to have him, Xavion, Mason, all still as technically underclassmen because they're not seniors, is unreal for this defense. And I'm sure Cliff Smith is just like so excited that most of his defense is going to be back next year.
Yes.
We are going to take a quick break. We're going to come back, talk about our all-conference selections and honorable mentions, and then we'll gear up for what could be on the horizon, a little preview of Turkey Day, and don't go anywhere. You're watching Guzman's Gridiron on Underground Sports Philadelphia. And welcome back, everybody. So, all conference voting was last week. That's why there wasn't a show last week, but there was good reason. A lot of selections from the Fighting Clan for the all-conference team. A lot of first-team all-conference selections as well, Coach. Give us the rundown. This feels like just the cherry on top of what this season has turned out to be, to just see the unbelievable talent on this Fighting Clan roster get recognized for how well they've played this year.
Our kids. I went on the. I went over to the All-Star Committee this past week. I believe it was Wednesday, right?
Yes.
Wednesday we went, and got there, and now I'm looking at my old coach and Coach Pete, and I'm looking at other coaches, Coach Jimmy. Just a lot of guys that I grew up with and now are head coaches, And we get into that room and it's like, okay, here's Kingsway, here's Washington Township, here's Clearview, right? Holy Spirit, and good old Vineland, right? Same room, same conference. And I'll tell you what, all those gentlemen were professionals, man. Every single head coach there was was definitely professional. They didn't have no chip on their shoulder and trying to, throw their weight around. Oh, well, I've been here 15 years. It was very, cut and dry. How the voting process was. Um, and I managed to get 9 of our guys on there, man. I managed to get 9 of our guys in there. So, it was pretty cool, pretty fun. Um, you know, if I could read it off real quick,
Absolutely.
it's fine. All right, let me get the trusty iPhone out. That ain't no plug for iPhones. They got enough plugs.
But if they do want to, if Apple wants to come through and throw us the bag,
that's fine. That's fine, Apple.
We'll get Apple headsets for the sidelines, all that good stuff.
You heard it, Apple. Come on, man. So, let's see. So, for the Continental Division, first team offense, we have Patrick Gilbert, made it for the O-line. We also have Tyrell Powell, made it for athlete. We also have Mason Afanador that made it for athlete. Continental Division, first team defense, we had Olafemi Sode, made it for D-line. We have also we have Ryan Maven, who made it for D-back. We have Saquon Anderson, who made it for D-back. Oh no, went away. Why? Technical difficulties. No. We also had Xavion Diaz make it for honorable mention offense. We had Gavin Gallo make it for honorable mention defensive line. I think that covers all 9. Yeah, Diaz, Gallo, and
we also had that all-conference golden leg.
Oh, wait. Colin, I'm so sorry. I know I know right now he's probably like, but Coach, me. And Colin Grafe absolutely made it. The golden leg was definitely in there. It was crazy because for his, the guy's like, we're talking and the Holy Spirit guy's like, so Coach, who do you have for kicker? I said, Golden Leg's got to be up there. I'm selling him. He's like, Golden Leg. He said, yes, Colin Grafe, man. He has plenty of points on the board for us. He goes, Coach, I just want to let you know, my guy was 5 for 5 field goals, 22 for 22 point after tries. Well, he wasn't that good. Not that good. All right, because your kid was perfect, okay? But my kid was really good. He goes, how about we do this? My kid field goal kicker. And your kid punter. I said, that works for me because either side,
yep,
he was booting the ball beautifully. So that's what he got. He got first team punter.
And
punter, Colin Grafe. Great job, Colin.
He put a little razzle dazzle on that award against Atlantic City because that rollout 40-yard nuke punt.
He's a magic man, dude.
Was absurd.
I thought he was tackled for loss. I'm going to be honest. I was like, oh, my God.
I thought he was dead in the water.
Yeah. There's 4 guys beaming at him, and he finds a little window. He
rolled out like a quarterback.
And I'm like, what is going Bing! There goes the ball with a beautiful roll away from the target.
Completely changed the field.
Yes. It, curved like Beckham. I don't know. It's like, yeah. I'm like, where? You know what? All right, Colin. All right, come over here. Let me talk to you. What happened? Yeah, Coach, it's all right. Go ahead. Keep practicing. You need some water? Yeah.
That punt was unreal.
He's the magic man. He is the magic man, and all the kids love him. He's somebody that, again, a quiet leader on that team. Just a quiet leader, and just does everything I want to say that I got all 9, right?
I think so.
Yeah. He does all the intangibles, Kyle, and this is a kid. It's going to be hard to replace a kid like that. It's going to be really hard to replace a kid like that. But Colin being Colin, he's working with one of my young kids. He's a sophomore. He's doing his thing with him, getting him prepared for, his exit and hopefully this young man's entry into something good for Vineland High School football.
It's been really cool the past couple of weeks, too, seeing Henry Garton back on the sidelines and supporting the team. That's been a lot of fun. We've had quite a few guests at these past couple home games, and I met one of them against Atlantic City. Albright's head coach was in the building, which was very cool to see, to come out and watch the team play in a matchup like that, to have, collegiate-level coaches coming out to these games as well to kind of take in high-intensity Gatone Stadium. How cool is that for you?
It was really nice. The coach for Albright, thank you again, sir, for coming by and checking our kids out. He was a pleasure to be around, very, very positive, very happy to have came and seen the action he saw, because he actually left with a few more names on his list, not to mention the names he was already looking at when he got there. So, again, I appreciate you guys coming down and taking a look at our kids, and our kids appreciate it as well.
Especially on a Thursday.
Yeah. I mean, this guy just, class act through and through. So again, kudos to him and his college, and we wish them nothing but the best.
Yeah, I mean, to have the fans come out too, the student section, the band, the cheerleaders, these past couple Thursdays, Gatone Stadium's been rocking.
It's been nice.
It's been loud. It's been boisterous. It's been an unfriendly place for the opponent.
Right.
And couple that with the coolest uniforms you guys have. Those blackout jerseys are awesome. It has been just a chaotic environment for an opponent to come into, and that's what the playoffs are all about.
Yes.
That's what you want it to be when you have opponents coming into your house in a high-stakes environment. Talk about just like we talked about that early in the season, wanting to build it to be that way.
Right.
And it feels like as the season's gone along, it's gotten louder and louder and more packed. It's been fun seeing the turnouts every single game.
Listen, again, I give thanks to the community for coming out and the numbers they have been. Thank you also for again, just watching the kids and making sure that you guys are holding a standard up in them stands. So again, kudos to you guys, coming out and holding that standard up, because all we want is we want the visiting team to leave. All right, it could be a hostile environment, so to speak, but we want them to leave saying, wow, what a hell of a ride that was, huh? They had, from student section, the cheerleaders to the band, everything was Class A. There was no, demeaning of the team when they're walking by, throwing stuff, none of that. It was all in the spirit of the game. It was all positive, and we just came into a rowdy place.
Classy chaos.
Classy chaos. I like it. Classy chaos. He can copyright that. But yeah, Kyle, it's like that's all that I want for this football team, not only the football team but for the town, to be, recognized for, the positives and not no negativity at all, So again, kudos to the community for coming out and holding up that standard.
Mini bye week this week, obviously with no school, it makes sense to not have a game this week, but you guys are prepping for next week to be in a game-like preparation scenario. Obviously still trying to get the semantics of that scheduling going as of this recording, but to kind of have, this week off, what is that going to do for you guys in terms of just getting guys healthy that may need to, rest up a little bit, and then going into next week with uncertainty to a degree of, who are we playing, when are we playing type of situation.
Right.
What is that preparation like for you guys to be in a state of game prep for a week, but not exactly knowing the full-on semantics of that game?
Nothing changes on our end, rather, by way of how we're going about, the work week, so to speak. The only thing that's changing is that I'm giving the kids off for this week. In lieu of, us playing back-to-back games, these kids' bodies they're hurting a little bit, So I'd rather go into that following week as 100% as you can be, which it's never 100% in football.
Especially at this point in the season.
No, absolutely not. But at least the kids will have that respite where their bodies will be a lot better. Their minds will be a lot clearer.
Not many teams get 2 bye weeks in the season.
No. So we're in a good predicament, Kyle. We really are. We're in a really good predicament. But as far as the mental, the film work, all that mental preparation is on the table. We might not know who by way of who we're going to play this following week, but all the fundamentals of our defenses, all the fundamentals of our offenses and special teams, they're all on the table.
Mm-hmm.
That's not changing at all. And so the kids know that. They're constantly preparing for that on huddle on their own time. And we're just going to see where these, chips fall, where we find out who exactly we're going to play this upcoming week before the big Thanksgiving bash.
And obviously not to look too far ahead to Thanksgiving because there's
Right.
still a potential game on the table. But
Absolutely.
going back to the matchup against number 2 from Atlantic City, knowing his talent, his skill set, and how he is arguably the number 1 receiver in South
Yes.
Jersey, Latsier Brooks is the 1-1A from Millville. How much of a benefit was it for you guys to play Atlantic City, to see how Saquon, Mason, Xavion, and Tank all matched up against number 2 from AC,
Mm-hmm.
to have them kind of almost prepare in an adjacent way
Right.
for Latsier again, a player that they've seen before to a degree, obviously having seen him the past couple of years playing for Millville, to have that in-game preparation for a receiver of that caliber. How beneficial was it to have that matchup against Atlantic City to prepare for a matchup against Millville, and especially a one-on-one type of matchup against Latsier?
It's invaluable experience. I mean, again, I'm going to say all 5, not all 4, all 5 of Atlantic City's receivers all had speed, all had good hands, all were vertically inept, from being tall. They didn't really have a slot receiver.
Mm-hmm.
They were all 6-footers and up. Their catching ability, their route ability, their route running ability. These are all things that are invaluable for our kids as, our D-backs and our linebackers. And they definitely took advantage of all that knowledge that they gained on that game field. And we, in turn, also internalized all this information that we were gathering, being so that we're not trying to look ahead, right? But if you're a coach, you are looking ahead. I'm not talking from the player's perspective. I'm talking from our coaching perspective. We got to
a preparation perspective.
Yeah, we got to make sure that, are the games that we are aligning, are they in line with what's to come? And I believe that myself and the coaching staff, we're doing just that. We're aligning our games to ultimately place us in a better position to possibly, shock the world come Turkey Day.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about Atlantic City's quarterback, one of the more underrated, top-tier quarterbacks in South Jersey. Can throw the ball at will.
Can
That's
roll
exactly
out,
what
everything.
Jacob Zamat can do for Millville. He's one of the more talented quarterbacks in the state as well. And I think Atlantic City is almost a very close mirror match, if you will, in terms of just like talent at certain positions.
Right.
That Millville has that same talent at those certain positions as well to not exactly give you film on Millville, but it gives you film to study to prepare for what's to come against Millville.
Absolutely. Again, you can't practice speed. Either you have speed or you don't. And again, every one of those receivers that we faced this past week were fast. Legitimately fast. Some faster than others.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it gives you that information that you're going to need moving forward. And we're going to build upon it. We're going to go ahead and make sure that we have a game plan in place first and foremost for the team that we're, knock on wood, that we should play before, the Thanksgiving bash. But yeah, we're prepping and ready to rock and roll come this work week coming up, instead of fast forwarding time and making it all right. Well, we only have one more game left. The Thanksgiving bash. No, we have 2 more games left. One before to really get us synced in, and then let the chips fall where they may against the neighboring town.
And if things go the way that you guys as a team believe they can in this upcoming potential matchup, the worst you can finish this season is right at that 500 line.
Yeah.
How cool is that? To just know that you had that rough patch against top flight teams that you're willing to play year in and year out. You knew what was, on the deck against those
Right.
teams. Some of those games you were in, could have potentially won. And then to go on this streak now, to get to 500 with a potential to go above 500 for the first time if
Right.
things go the way that you expect them to by knowing the preparation and the talent on this team.
Right.
You could finish 1 game above, 2 games above, or at 500. I don't think anybody, if you ask them whether they were in the area or outside of the area, outside of who's in that locker room and in this little circle that you guys have created as that extended family, would have ever believed.
You're right.
A first-year head coach, a defensive coordinator going to offensive coordinator, unknowns at quarterback. You would have thought you were pitching a Disney movie.
It was definitely, yeah. It was like that veil that was put over us. Like, they just count them out. Okay, and that's fine. I love being the underdog. I love it because we just stay hungry. See, that's the problem. See, you don't feed us. We just stay hungry. It's okay. It's not a problem. And that's what I tell the kids. Just stay hungry, man. Stay hungry. Stay focused. Never settle. Don't settle, man. Let's roll. And the kids have really, they've bought into that thinking, and as far as, people thinking, oh yeah, and again, the words were out there in town. I mean, I'm sure you've heard too, the whispers, through the space, if you will, but it doesn't mean anything to me, man. I have really thick skin. I can care less what people think of me. You're gonna respect my kids.
Mm-hmm.
Me, I can care less. You learn to respect me. My kids, that's the trigger for me. Don't mess with my kids and don't disrespect them, and you won't even know I'm the head coach.
Right.
You really don't. There's people, there's officials, like last week. They come around. They come right to me. Hey, the head coach around. I just pointed, and then I went around where the other coaches were, and I went around, and then they're like, "Did you find him?" I said, "I'm right here," and they all started laughing. It's okay. I have no problem with it, Kyle. I have zero problem. Just they're the stars, my kids. Go interview them. Go, talk to them. I'm just me, man. I'm just here. You know what I mean?
It was hilarious during the broadcast. Rich got an eye on Marcelino and said, "You know that saying about when you spend too much time around somebody, they start to look like you? Marcelino looks like a young Jose Guzman." He said the mannerisms, the way he just talks and moves his hands, they've spent a lot of time together.
Listen, I love that dude. Marcelino, again, I keep on saying it. He has been such a breath of fresh air to this team, to the coaching staff. He enjoys what he does. He loves football. Loves it to the point where he's like, "Coach, so next year maybe I can help out." I said, "In whatever capacity you want to help out, man. You already proved yourself this year by taking over the whole special teams unit." See, I didn't want to overwhelm Marcelino. You know what I mean? So at first I had him helping out with the O-line, helping out with the D-line. But then after a little bit of time, I'm like, "Do you want a whole gig, man?" It's like, "Coach, you know how you get there. Coach, I was like, "How about you take over the special teams?" And he's done it beautifully.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want no one else touching that special teams unit at all but Marcelino. He's doing an excellent job.
Let's talk about the alumni.
Let's talk about the alumni.
Because you haven't seen this video, so you're going to get a first reaction here to old Pop in Germany, spending 2 hours after the game signing autographs. He said, "Not these people don't get to see the Kansas City Chiefs play football every single day. They don't get to see me play football every single year. So I'm going to give my time to what they deserve." And I thought that was just if you know Pop, that's
Pop.
The inner Pop just showcasing on an international level. In Germany, Chiefs get a big-time win, and then he spends hours in a foreign country after the game signing every autograph that comes up.
Thank you for showing me this, man, because, that kid there, man, is just he's special. And I've said it many a times, but people really don't understand how special Pop is. Like, he's special in that, he's this unbelievable running back for the Kansas City Chiefs. Everyone by now should know that. Okay, that's great. But it's the stuff that you don't see,
Mm-hmm.
man. It's this 2 hours signing autographs. Not because his agent said, hey, Pop, that would be a pretty good move for you to go ahead and sign some. No. No.
Another player that doesn't need the PR,
No. He don't.
boost.
And call it what you will. Maybe it's in our family genetics, but we don't need it. I don't care if you put me on a pedestal. Yeah, Coach Guzman, one of the. He's the same way. He don't care. All right, whatever. I'm gonna fly in. I'm gonna go to my mom's house, get some home cooked, cooking from my mom. Chill out with my dad and my brother. Like, I'm with my family.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So that right there, if that doesn't put everything in perspective on how not just Pop is, Jamil, Noah Sandstone, I mean, the list goes. Donovan Bennett, Tyreen Powell. I mean, it goes on and on. Naheem Anderson.
Mm-hmm.
These kids, or these young men rather, are selfless, man. They really are. They're not about, oh yeah, I got the latest, greatest, and I'm. No, you might pass Pop in a store, not even know that you just passed him. He was just at a local whatever, and he wanted to get something to eat or some shirt or something. He just saw. He pops in, no bodyguards, nobody with him, and then leaves.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Normal. I can't say enough about that kid or all them kids that we just named. And again, I use the word kid with love and respect because I know you guys are grown men. It's just it seems like yesterday I was messing around in this very office with them. No, don't write that. Yeah, go ahead, write that. Like, what are you doing? Stop. Stuff like that. Stop writing on the board. And now they're
adults.
Yeah, like they're. It's just unreal.
Weird.
It's weird. It's very weird. 1 minute I'm throwing an eraser at him or something. Next minute, he's catching a touchdown pass and again, like it's pretty cool, man. It's pretty cool. I love it. I love every minute of it just because I know that all the men that we just mentioned, they don't change who they are. They are them through and through, and they're all good people, man. All real good people. So I hope I hope you guys enjoyed not just the game, but really connecting with people that are real people that are just like me and you. They just go ahead and live out their daily lives in a normal way, man. Normal way. So thank you again for taking care of the family over there in Germany.
Jamil started a podcast on Instagram Live. He's been doing it for the past few weeks.
Yes.
With the music industry, and I think it just goes to show you more and more that his creativity has no bounds.
None. Nope.
From making music, and now he's chopping it up with music artists across the industry. I'm just waiting to get that Instagram notification, not only for myself, but when it'll say like Team Demby has gone live with Drake or Lil Wayne or something like that, because that's something
Kyle
he
Bennett.
would do. That's something that would not shock me. Is some sort of high-profile artist going on Instagram Live with Jamil, because that's just who Jamil is.
Yes. Jamil is again a horse of a different color, man. He really is, dude. He really is. He is a special guy. This town loves him. This town rallies behind Jamil. Us as the coaching staff, we love him. We rally behind him, and we wish him only the best. Him and his lovely wife.
Who was roasting him in his Instagram comments the other day.
Come on, Jamil.
He posted these awesome pictures with a Rolls Royce, and his awesome wife
beautiful
posted
white
in the
Rolls
comments,
Royce too.
Said, knee so bad had to park in the handicap spot. And I said, if that's not love, I don't know what is.
Yeah, it's love. It's love. It's okay, Jamil. It's love. You know what, though, man? She's a great person.
She's
man.
awesome.
She's a great person. He married a great one, and he deserves to be happy in his life. So kudos to you. Keep doing it, Jamil. You're awesome, brother.
And I know Tyreem is healing up, but you see Rutgers run the Statue of Liberty? What a play.
Dude, they may have not come away with that Ohio State, win, but I'll tell you what, them kids were playing their behinds off. That first half, you were like, it might. And then all of a sudden, things started to go with the way of Ohio State. But Coach Schiano, again, phenomenal job. Him and his coaching staff, phenomenal job with them kids. Just to get them to rally to play a team of that magnitude, number one team in the nation, yes. Not bad. Not bad.
And I thought some things could have happened because it feels like Ohio State and a lot of the Big Ten's a little distracted right now with that whole Michigan situation.
Yeah. That's another story for another day, man. That's what are we doing,
it just
man?
Continues to
That's
develop.
my boy, Harbaugh, man. Thanks.
It is.
He used to be my Niners head coach. Like, what are we doing, dude?
It's such a weird situation too that like.
It's like the Astros thing, right? The don't.
It started off as something that sounded so innocent that like anybody can go in the stands and just have their cell phone and recording a game the entire time.
Yeah.
But then you hear like that guy was writing like a 600-page manifesto about the future of Michigan, and I was like, anybody who's writing a 600-page manifesto on anything, you're a little sus.
Yeah,
there's something a little off.
Your noodle might be a little drained up there. Something's off.
Not okay.
Yeah.
And then just like everyone getting conspiratorial with a photo on the sidelines of like I think it was Eastern or Central Michigan,
right?
And it was allegedly this guy, and they were like photoshopping to like overlap to see if it was
if it's the same guy.
It was the funniest thing to just follow along with because the more and more it progressed, the crazier and crazier
the story
everyone sounded.
Right.
And it was just like, I don't pay too much attention to college football outside of the guys from Vineland because that's all I care about.
Right.
But this was just like, I'm just getting my popcorn.
And I'm going to go ahead and watch it.
Act like absolute lunatics because this is awesome. My brother-in-law and I were like, we need somebody to explain this to us like we're 4.
Right.
Because this makes no sense.
It's tough, man. All this, peekaboo action with the binoculars, the whole things happen like that.
Hey, NCAA, you want to fix it? Put the headsets in the helmets like they do at every other level.
Yeah.
That'll change things real quick.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about sign stealing.
No. It's just, I don't know, man. I think they have other things on their plate, though, too.
Too much.
Yeah. Yeah, you would think. But very unfortunate because, like I said, I love Harbaugh, man. I love him. He's a defensive genius, and he was my Niners coach, like I said. But, hey.
If he's smart, he'll get out of Dodge after this year.
I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna tell you something else. I don't think Harbaugh leaves.
I don't think so either.
I don't think he's like the king over there. I think they go like this. Hey, you know what? Sometimes things happen.
It wasn't you, Coach.
It wasn't you. It was this guy. Get him out of here. What are you gonna do next year for us, Coach? Like I said, I wish him no bad ill will. Yeah. I hope everything works out and he learns from his mistakes, and everyone learns from their mistakes, and they move on. But yeah, tough. That was tough.
It was weird. But yeah, shout out to our alumni. Next week we'll be back, hopefully previewing a matchup against another team, getting ready for just another playoff game, if you will.
Right.
And then obviously we'll have the big one going into Turkey Day at Millville.
Yep.
And like you always say, play the chips where they lie.
Play the chips where they lie, man. This is football, and it's high school football. Anything could happen. There's been upsets before where people think that a certain team's going to win, and then the other team winds up winning. So, I know that we're going to be ready for – before we get there, we'll be ready for the team that's anticipatory to that. And then, again, we'll be fully motivated and rearing to go come Thanksgiving Bash.
And also shout out to Coach Russo being in the building on Thursday night, too. Yeah. It was good to see Coach back at Gatone Stadium and taking in the game. Always fun chopping it up with him.
He surprised me, man. I love that dude. Thanks again, Coach. Again, you know how we are, bro. It's family all the way to the death and beyond, brother.
So big thank you to all of our listeners. Be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts in audio form, whether it's Apple, Spotify, or anywhere in between. And subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia, so you don't miss out on the Guzman's Gridiron in video form. Premieres live pretty much every Wednesday night around 7:30, 8 o'clock. You don't want to miss it. We're in the chat. Premieres just like a TV show does on cable television. It's that cool. Shout out to YouTube.
My son, Carmelo Guzman, wanted to tell you, great job with that. He
There
loves
we
the fact
go.
he loves the fact that he could comment and stuff. So, see, Mello, I got you
Look
too.
at that.
Tati, love you.
I know he's
daughter.
watching. Coach Belfie's watching every
Oh,
single week.
Bells is in there. Yeah, he's in there watching.
So
He's in there
subscribe to
watching.
the YouTube, and we'll be back next week previewing another playoff game and the precursor to Turkey Day. So we'll see you then.
Gridiron is brought to you proudly by Allen Associates. And if you're looking for a reliable and experienced insurance agency that caters to all your needs, look no further than Allen Associates Insurance Services. With over 6 decades of experience under their belts, they specialize in health insurance, financial services, and accounting. Whether you're part of the public or private sector, they've got you covered. Our family-owned business currently helps upwards of 300 groups throughout New Jersey, providing them with the best insurance options available. You can now easily learn more and access our services by visiting our brand new website, AllenAssoc.com. That's ALLENASSOC.com. Link is also in the description of this episode. So join the family and let us help you secure your future. Contact Allen Associates today by calling 856-692-2250. That's 856-692-2250. We want to thank Allen Associates for being a proud partner of Guzman's Gridiron, the official Vineland High School football coaches show on the Underground Sports Philadelphia Podcast Network. Now, let's get back to the show.